now under lobby from the Polish, they also called the Marie Skłodowska Curie, because the French claim was there and the Polish they were there. So they used to be Marie Curie, and I still haven't got used to it, but it's Marie Skłodowska Curie. So Marie Curie is possibly one of the flagships of the new budget and not the old one. The idea, I mean, this used to go under people, under the people section of FP7. People section means that we care about people, which means also we care about not research outputs, but we care about training outputs. So you want to take a person, and you want to bring the person from point A to point B. Point B is, increased capacity to lead research, to have research outputs, to act as a manager as well, and to engage with dissemination activities, scientific and academic and non-academic. Now, the Marie Curie, I think it's a very interesting thing because anyone in the world is eligible. So Georgians actually were eligible even before. But Georgians were eligible individually first, and then as a partner of consortium. And the Marie Curie is, very quickly, you have the big ones and the small ones. The small ones is an individual fellowship which goes from 1 to 3 years. You apply for money, and you can work in any university in the world, with the limitation that if you go beyond outside the European Union in a country, then you have to be sponsored by European University anyway. So either, there are three main schemes. One is to come to Europe. So you work in, Kenya, and you want to do some research in Germany. Then the institution in Germany says, yes, we're going to sponsor you. Actually, they don't need to sponsor you because they don't have to pay any money. They will just get 100% of the money plus overheads. Or you are from Germany and you want to go to Kenya. Then you apply for this. Your university in Germany will sponsor you. So you always need to, the thing is, the money will stay within the European Union. So, or within the European Union and associate partners, for the reason I said before.
What about UK for that?
UK is still part of the European Union.
Yes, too.
They still contributed to the budget until 2020. So in my view, the fact that people are panicking and they are kicking out UK partners from all consortia is not rationally justified. But of course, there is also an understanding of what's going to happen afterwards.
Yeah.
And because of this, and because reviewers and people are irrational most of the time, that even if there's no formal reason not to include the UK is not there. It's becoming very difficult. It's becoming very difficult for UK partners to say, "Oh, I'm putting together a consortium. Do you want to come?" And everybody's like, "No." It's like they have some kind of disease here. I don't want to work with it. But for the moment, UK is there.
But there are other projects in UK.
Actually, yes, that's the thing. Cynically speaking, the UK is contributing a share of the budget, which I would estimate at 15%, but they're taking 50% of the research budget. So if the UK leaves so yes, you're going to have a lower budget, but actually you're going to have less competition. You had a question? Or you just pressing again?
Can I ask a question regarding the individual fellowship? Georgian researchers, since Georgia is an associate partner, Georgian researchers are considered as, of every Georgian institution as a researchers from associate partners. So, for example, if they go from Georgia to one of the higher education institutions in Germany, should the researchers individually apply for the fellowship or the hosting institution?
Okay. The fact that Georgia is an associate partner now doesn't mean almost anything for the Marie Curie, individual ones. Because for the individual, the only thing that changes is that now you can host. So there is an understanding which is.
So that was my question. Are we in this for this specific call? Are we considered as a third country researchers, or the researchers from associate? Because that makes sense.
the holy cows of the Marie Curie individual fellowship are the researchers. Okay, it's not an institution. This is research based.
But the
So,
institution
I'm
has to
getting,
host this.
I'm getting there. You have two things. One is the host, and one is kind of the outgoing organization. Now, the host institution is the one that accepts to host the research, not physically, but legally, for the period of the fellowship. Is the institution that will get the money. The outgoing is the one where you're going to. Now, the Marie Curie has three main schemes. One is going from EU member to another EU member. So I'm in France, I want to learn something in Germany, I go to Germany. The other one is going from a EU to a non-EU. So I'm in Spain, I want to go to Brazil. The third one is going from non-EU to EU.
So this applies to us.
Now, all three apply to you, because being an associate partner means that I can say Georgia is the only place where this can be done. I want to move to Georgia. And then I work with the Georgian university. We submit an application, and the Georgian university will get the money and will pay my salary. Or the Georgian researcher who wants to go to Germany doesn't need to pass through an institution in Georgia, because they just have to find a host institution in Germany. If they want to go outside of the European space now Georgia is in European space, Armenia is not. So paradoxically, you could apply for a grant and say, I'm Georgian, I want to be based at Ilya State University, but I want to do my research in Armenia. Then you have to apply for what is called an outgoing fellowship. You're going out of Europe, which is even if you want to go from Georgia to Germany, actually you have to apply for the European one, because Georgia is now Europe in terms of research. But the European one doesn't need to have, because we are talking of two European universities, there is no need to bring the money to, you can bring money to this one or this one, nobody cares, because legally, you both are eligible for receiving funding directly. Whereas if from Georgia you want to go to Cameroon, then a Georgian institution has to get the money, because we will not send, the European Union will not send money to Cameroon. And somebody from Cameroon wants to come to Georgia, the money will come to Georgia. So the money receiver will always be in the European area. And then the three schemes apply. But actually, we had, I think we had two or three, even in my project we had 2 or 3 Georgian students, because they were eligible. Because it's about anyone is eligible, they just have to be hosted by university. So we hosted some PhD students, they came, and they are there. It's a bit, and Georgia was also, to give you an example as well, I was working with Tbilisi State University on a grant, and the grant was sending researchers from EU universities into non-EU universities. There was a time when Georgia was not an associate partner. Now, we had Marmara in Turkey, and Marmara was an associate partner. We had Dublin, and then we have Georgia, Russia, and India. Now, anyone, I could receive people from India. I could receive people from Georgia. And I could send people to Georgia. But the only organization that were allowed to get the money were Turkey, Estonia, and Ireland. So what would happen is that Ireland gets a share of the budget. And they use this budget for whoever is going to Georgia and for whoever is coming to Georgia, from Georgia. So Georgia will not touch any money. Legally, in the countries we can. No, we are responsible for them. So when they come, we pay them a salary. When they go, we pay the salary or the reimburse the fees of the person going to Georgia. But Georgia and money are like this. Now, when I was applying last time, Georgia became an associate partner, which means that in principle, if I wanted, once we get the money, I could say, okay, this is a share of the budget. This is 40,000, whatever. You have to send people, and it's your problem how you send it. It's your problem to create the legal documents. Because the thing for this scheme in my case, I created the legal documents because there were no legal documents before, even if mine was a EU university, because there was no one. So we got the money, and then you say, okay, now we have to find a way. I don't know how many of you are familiar, but if you are a researcher in your university, and you need to go into another university and you are employed by your university, some limitations apply. Because, okay, can I give you a scholarship? Can I give you a salary? Can I give you just reimburse the fees? How can we do this? And there are limitations. Then this is something you have to find within your national legislation and universities. Yes?
So my question is, so who is the applicant for Maria's campus? The individual?
Research.
For the individual fellowships in the
Yeah,
university.
and does this individual have to somehow negotiate before with host institution or?
You need to produce a letter of the
Acceptance
institution.
letter.
Huh?
Acceptance letter or something like that, that the host
Yeah.
institution will host you, right?
Saying this institution, I mean, actually, you need to apply through the university. So the university will have to legally click and say, we accept this person, plus the letter from the other partner you want to have. Yeah, so everything is in advance.
You apply as an individual researcher, but on behalf of your institution, right?
Of the institution is going to host you, yes.
Of the institution and the host.
And you should be admitted as this institution and you have to.
I don't hear anything.
And the applicant has to be admitted at that institute.
Yes, they need to have formula, which in many cases is very easy. I mean, in my case, I went to a university and say, I'm going to bring you 100% of my salary, and I'm going to bring you 20,000 euros just for you, for your
So
university.
this is.
Do you want the money? And I, no, we don't have, we don't have enough plugs. No, you cannot come. Yeah, of course you can come. But of course, some universities, they need to have clearance from the central office anyway, formally. Some others don't. So if you come to a university where I am, and if you go to a university in UK, it's very likely they need a permission anyway.
And what about research institutes?
Sorry?
What about research institutes? So like centers which are not universities?
If you are legally recognized and you are recognized as a research organization,
Yes.
then the same rules apply then to the university. Research and teaching organization institution, as long as they are recognized by national legislation and they are recognized, it doesn't change anything.
Are there age limits?
No. It used to be, let me remember the good time. It used to be like 3 kind of levels of salary. So for, okay, this is before taxes. But the last FP7 used to be, I think it was 36,000 euros for a PhD student. But this is before taxes, which means that like in Estonia or in Ireland, you will get half of it. Then used to be 52,000 for an experienced researcher between 4 and 10 years. And then it used to be 79,000 for an experienced researcher, which is a lot. That's why after FP7 it was phased out, and now we have only 2 levels.
So what are these 2 levels then?
One is junior, one is senior, I think. And now it's like, they slightly even reduced the amounts, so they have money. But this is the money that goes to the university, then you have to see the university, how much is taxed. So cynically speaking, you might want to check the best university, or you might want to check the country with the best